Sven LaRose, thank you so much for your super. How to let go and let God, the universe. Please cover this. Letting go just kind of means releasing resistance. It doesn't mean that I'm no longer doing or acting or moving in accordance with what I want. It's more like I'm going to stop harping on this. I'm going to stop checking on this. I'm going to stop trying to make this happen. Okay. So the way I would say you could, if you want to think of it, okay, sometimes it helps to have an image in your mind of what this actually looks like. Okay. So if you were to watch something like a performance, okay, maybe you're watching two dancers on stage. The dancer who has let go and let God, she's still dancing. Okay. But it's as if there's a force kind of working through her. She's kind of being led with it. She's enjoying it. She's having fun, and the current is running through her. So all of her movements look like they all kind of work together. She's in flow. She's in flow state. That's letting go. That's allowing energy to be channeled through you. The other dancer who has not let go and let God, they're thinking about all the steps, they're stumbling over things, they're looking around, okay? That kind of energy is not the kind of energy that you want to put into anything. So your objective as you're moving through life is try to do it like the dancer on the stage whose everything's kind of syncing up. Meaning you want to allow energy to be channeled through you. You're not trying to force energy through you. Okay. It's a very broad question you've asked. Hopefully that is a helpful response. And we got another one here from Miss Melody. Thank you, Melody, for the super. How to overcome the visibility fear and the fear to go live on social. Ooh, just do it. Just do it. Part of the process of getting into that flow state is just allowing yourself to be exposed. Okay. So, like I was saying, there's the two dancers on the stage, the dancer that's kind of looking around and nervous, okay, and the dancer that has the flow that's going. What we want to try to get to when it comes to lives is to that second state, okay? But understanding that the first couple times you might look more like the first dancer, and that's okay, okay? One thing that's going to help you guys get into flow state with anything is simply becoming more used to it. Okay. So, for instance, if it's the first time that you're ever going into the gym, you're not going to know what you're doing. You're probably going to feel a little bit apprehensive. Does that mean that you shouldn't walk into the gym? No. Okay. You just keep going back, and eventually you feel comfortable. The same thing is true with the lives. So, what I would recommend when it comes to like social media and lives and all of that kind of stuff, one of the big things that people struggle with is rejection. They're worried no one's going to watch, people are going to have negative things to say, blah, blah, blah. And then that causes that fear, that insecurity within you, which it makes it harder for you to go live or harder for you to post, and at a minimum, harder to feel positive about what's going on. Okay. So, what you want to do is you want to look at that rejection in a positive way. Okay. So, kind of like that first suggestion that I gave, I'm always winning. I'm always winning, meaning if I go live and someone says something negative about me, good. That's teaching me how to get over rejection. If I go live and there's a problem with the live, good. It's showing me how to do something better. Okay. So I don't know if you guys remember, they're like way back when I first kind of switched over to doing lives. This was a while back. So only people have been with me for a long time to remember this. But I had some real issues with audio. I had like 3 or 4 lives that the audio was just total doggy doo-doo. Okay. People couldn't hear. It was a problem. And so this is kind of an example of what I'm saying. When that would happen, I wouldn't get upset about it so much because in my mind, I'm like, oh, good. This is teaching me how to do audio better. Oh, good. This is teaching me how to do this better. Okay. So, what I'm saying is, when you first start something new, you're probably not going to be in flow state with it, and that's okay. Reframe the rejections, reframe the problems as this is teaching me how to do this well. I'm learning something from this. This is making me better. That way, no matter what kind of stumbles or falls you have on social media, they work towards your benefit and it takes all that anxiety out of the equation. Really good question. I'll grab this one real quick before I move forward. Anna, thank you so much for the super. Hi, Andrea. How do you still use the law of attraction when in shock because a loved family member just passed away when it feels impossible to use the law of attraction? Okay, grief is a unique topic. Okay. Yes, we want to feel positive. Yes, we want to feel good. However, if you're going through grief and you tell yourself, I'm supposed to feel good about this, and you don't, what happens is you take your grief and you throw shame on top of it, which we don't want to be doing. Okay. So, in situations where you guys feel a tremendous amount of loss, the better plan is to simply allow yourself the space to grieve and to give yourself permission to do it. I'm allowed to feel about this however I want to feel about this. For however long I want to feel about this, I'm allowed to do that. When you allow yourself to feel grief, you allow yourself to allow that emotion to kind of process through you. Okay, so I used to be a psych teacher, and one of the things that we talk about in psychology is DABDA, which I'm sure some of you guys have heard of before. It's the cycle of grief. It's denial, anger, depression. I'm sorry, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Okay, so it's kind of this slew of emotions that happen before you get to a place of acceptance. And so, whenever you guys go through grief, you're going to notice that there's going to be kind of these waves that kind of come through. When you try to fight them, you make them last longer. So, getting through them quickly is actually more about accepting the grief and allowing it to pass through you. Now, once when you can think a little bit more positively about the situation, one thing that I like to think about is that this is an infinite universe, meaning this person has infinite lifetimes. And not only does this person have infinite lifetimes, I have infinite lifetimes with this person. So it's not goodbye forever. It's just I'll see you in the next one. Okay. Or another one that I like to think of is that they're on to a better one. They're on to a better one. They're on to the next one. So it's more like the person when they've passed has graduated, not that there's some kind of serious negative thing that's happened here. Okay. That's the way that I like to look at loss. Really good question. Miss Elizabeth, thank you for the super. Elizabeth says, I have type 2 diabetes, so much conflicting info, and I try it all. I do well and then not so well. I just want to feel good and not stress over every bite of food. How do I find flow in wellness? You know what it might kind of be is what's going on is maybe a little too much scrutiny. And I think in a situation where you have a health issue that you're trying to resolve, it's important to kind of do your best to, do what you need to do. But sometimes what ends up happening is people become overly reliant on the numbers or looking into it a whole bunch. And it can get to the point of being a little bit obsessive. And I'm not saying that's what's going on with you specifically, but I'm kind of reading that maybe we're paying a little bit too much attention to it. So, what might be better is to just come up with a few things that you do each week to manage it. Okay. And that's it. Leave it alone outside of that. Try not to get too obsessive because if we start to look at all of the things and try all the ways to fix it, what we're subconsciously saying to the universe, this is a real problem. This is hard for me to get over. This is a real difficult conundrum. So even though I'm doing all these things to solve the problem, the underlying thing that I'm putting out there is this feels like a real problem. So it continues to create more of a problem. But if I dial back and just kind of do the bare minimum and use the rest of my airtime to think differently, a lot of times things will just get better because now what I'm projecting is I'm relaxed about this, which means everything's okay. So there's a story I told this way back because this is from when my son was really small, but I'll tell it again because I think it's useful. He had this skin condition called molluscum. And maybe you guys have heard of it. I had never heard of this before, but it was this skin condition where he got these little, like almost wart like things on his body. And it started off kind of small and it was due to being in damp weather. So we're in Florida, he's outside swimming. That's probably how it started, right? But he started off with these small little molluscum. And I started kind of doing that. I started looking online. What does this mean? How bad can this be? And what I ended up finding out was that it was a condition that could last a really long time and it could potentially cover his whole body and it could create all these problems. And I started taking him to specialists and I wouldn't let him get damp. As soon as he got out of the bath, I was towel drying him and hitting him with the air dryer, just doing everything I could to try and keep this from getting worse. And what happened was the more neurotic I became about it, the worse the molluscum got. It wasn't until I did what I'm telling you now. I started to pull back and say, okay, that's not working. Let's try this a little differently. And I did just kind of the bare minimum. So, like, I followed up with this doctor when I was supposed to, and I gave him whatever medication he was supposed to have. And aside from that, I pulled way back. And it was quite remarkable because what was accelerating into a really big condition suddenly just died off and went away. And I believe it's because I wasn't paying any more attention to it. I was projecting this is okay, everything's fine, I'm not gonna worry about this, and then that took attention away from the symptoms, which allowed them to subside. So I hope that's helpful, okay? I know it's challenging because, there's so much information out there that I think this is one of the downsides to living in the society that we live in is that it's great that we have so much information, but it can cause us to tunnel into looking for answers to problems, which actually reinforces the problems, no matter how many answers you get. Okay. So when you start to feel that, just pull back. Okay. Good question. Snow Sparkle, thank you for the question. Snow Sparkle says, I'm currently building a business, which is very niche. How to be secure that it is mine and no one will, ooh, okay. No one will take my, well, that's tricky these days, isn't it? Hmm. One thing is letting go of that. Okay. I think that's been helpful for me. I work in the kind of work that I do is easy to steal, right? Easy for people to steal your ideas, replicate them. It's very simple. Um, Resolving that in your own mind as a bad thing can be helpful. Okay. And I think a lot of times with businesses, people become very tied into intellectual property. This is mine. I don't want anyone to take it. And then because that's our fear, we're projecting our fear, which makes us more likely that that kind of stuff's going to happen. So we want to try to reverse it and come up with the concept that it's okay. Right. So, one thing I would say is even if you're very niche, if there's something that has multiple versions of it, what it usually means is that there's a strong market for it. Okay. So, if there's only one of you and nobody wants to replicate what you're doing, it probably doesn't mean that it's as good. Right. So that's one way to look at it is that, well, if people steal my work, that means I'm really onto something. Okay. So now if you happen to see something, like, well, I must be onto something. If people are trying to take what I'm doing, I must be onto something. Not something went wrong, but I'm winning, not I'm losing. Okay. Another thing is looking at it from the side of the consumer, right? One of the reasons why we live in such a great, easy time to live is because ideas are very freely shared. So I benefit heavily, surprisingly, from other people pirating each other's work because they take good ideas and they teach other people them. They take good products and they bring them to market. And I benefit from that as a consumer. So it's okay that these things happen. And then the other thing, though, is too, is I think with this, that it's mine and nobody will take my idea, put you into your business. That's what I would say is probably a very important thing too, is don't try to just be like a generic template, but it's you. You are the business. So you do it your own way with your own personality, your own style. Because somebody can try to replicate that, but they're never going to do it quite as well as you. Because if you're doing it as you, that's you in flow state. That's you allowing energy just to channel through you the way it really wants to channel through you. And nobody can really replicate that exactly like you. So I would say do it like you is really good, but then also diffuse the idea that people stealing is bad. People stealing is actually a really good sign that you're onto something. Okay. So that's a good reframe. I hope that's helpful. Thank you for the question. Jess Aaron, thank you so much for this super. I appreciate you. For someone who's new at building authority for business, where is the line of overgiving your contents and people don't appreciate you? I don't want to be in the proofing energy. Thank you. Overgiving. Huh. Excuse me. Do as much as you can do freely and feel good about it. But when you start to feel like you're being exploited, pull back. I would say I think what your authority for business, I think what you're saying is like marketing. So kind of like what I'm doing right now, like this is free content. Okay. there can come a point where you're just doing and you're not actually translating that into business. So, one thing I would say about this with your business, income generation is important. You want to be focused on income generation as a primary thing, not a secondary thing. So, whatever it is that you're building, whether it's a product or a service, that's kind of where the primary focus is this is the engine for generating revenue. Then you have kind of your marketing. So, when you're building authority, maybe you're giving away free content, don't sacrifice income generation for free content. You still do want to be out there providing value, yes. But if the point is that you're trying to create income in your business, that needs to come first. The whatever time you have left to market the product, great. Another thing is too, like with overgiving, your pricing needs to be right. Pricing is another area where this can come into place with people that are building businesses. Is sometimes they just price their stuff too low, so, like, giving away everything for free, okay? So let's say you have a particular product and you just give it away for free, hoping that somebody will come on. It may be more beneficial to give it to them at a reduced price or to give them something extra along with it rather than just giving away things for free. Because if we're always just giving away things for free, that's kind of what we're putting out there, okay? Just take from me, take from me, take from me. Okay. So it is kind of a balancing act. That being said, it is important to get out there and to voice things and to give value. That's true. But the big thing is with yourself. You want to get inside of yourself and understand, am I feeling energized by what I'm doing, or am I feeling depleted? If you feel like people are constantly just taking from you, taking from you, taking from you, time to wall it off. Okay. So for me, I love doing lives, but if I did these every single day, I would probably lose it. Okay. So I only do them usually once a week. And so you need to strike your own balance with that. What do I feel comfortable giving for free? And when I start to feel depleted by it, that's a sign that I need to pull back. Okay. I hope that's helpful. And that's another tricky thing that people can deal with in business and in sales is giving away too many things for free, not actually trying to convert into a sale. And I'll go ahead and use this as my segue to talk about this program again. So for any of you guys who are building businesses or who are in the process of building sales careers, questions like what Jess asked are very common where people are trying to figure out, how do I actually get money through the door? And there's lots of questions people have about, just spending money on marketing. How am I supposed to market my product? How am I supposed to deal with people taking advantage of me? How do I deal with rejection? And these are all issues that can interfere with your ability to sell, to get clients, and to build your businesses. So, if you happen to be in a sales profession or you run your own business and you're interested in learning how to understand how to get people through the door using manifestation techniques, I put this one together last year, and this is the first time I'm putting it on sale since. I haven't been running a lot of course sales this year, so this is just one of a handful that I'm doing this year, and I will not put this course on sale again for another year. So if this one interests you, it's not for everybody, but if it interests you, feel free to go ahead and sign up for the notifications for that particular program. I'll send you some information on this program. Again, it's called Sales Magnet, and it's going on its best price ever sale next month. I'll send you information on that as well as the 50% off coupon code when that sale goes live. Because as you can tell from the comments, we do get lots of questions from people who are working in business or sales professions, and it can be frustrating trying to get sales through the door. I get it. All right. In addition to that, I do plan on coming back next Monday, same time, same place. So if you've been enjoying today's live, please make sure to join me next week. Of course, you can go ahead and turn on the notifications on YouTube so that you're notified when I go live. Sometimes I do change the time. Again, we're talking about energy. That's one of the reasons why, Jess. So if there's a time where I got to just step back, it's because I feel depleted in the moment. Okay. But usually I do try to come here every week. So we'll be doing that. And in addition to that, if you have not yet, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to me on YouTube, like the video, follow me on Instagram and Facebook. But thank you so much, guys, for coming along. I've enjoyed talking to you guys. And of course, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.